Hey guys, welcome to the Great Beyond. In today's episode, we'll be talking extensively about Geheena and the sons of Tophet. In the previous audio, we talked about the 5 different names of hell, with which we talked about Sheol, Hades, Tartarus, and Abuso. But today we'll be looking at, as I said earlier on, Geheena and the sons of Tophet. So, Gehenna was a word that is translated over the 4 Gospels, and it's also translated as hell. Now, to my geographic students who are listening in, this might pique your interest. There is actually an area of Jerusalem called Geheena, which is descriptively a deep ravine and valley just outside the southwestern walls of Jerusalem. And that was also nicknamed the Valley of the Sons of Hinnom. So we take a recap, or we go back into a little bit of history about the Sons of Hinnom. And surprisingly, they were inhabitants who worshipped an original Ammonite god called Molech. Yep. I guess he is the founder of child sacrifice, which transcended all the way from that generation and even to the era of the Incas and the Aztecs. Now, this is a really dark reality, so it gets really dark here. The gods, or the god Molech, was known to be situated on a brass pedestal, which appeared as a man from waist down and a calf from waist up. How creative can they get? I know. Well, the prophets Jeremiah that speak of this act in Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 31, saying, "And they built the high places of Tophet." See where I'm going? The sons of Tophet, the sons of Molech, and the place called Geheena, which originally had inhabitants who worshipped Molech, and also had its description as a deep ravine and a valley. So, what happens is that the daughters and sons were placed in fire, which God did not command. Now, it does raise a question. Does the child die? But we'll put a pin on that question, or we'll put a rain check on that question, and we'll talk more about the elaborately disturbing, horrific scene. It's more like Saw all over again. Now, in Molech, or in the practice of this debauchery, the lesser god was lit on fire till his hands were scorching. I mean, hands were literally scorching, like a Ghost Rider style. If you remember Ghost Rider from, I'm trying to remember the name of the character. Okay, just Ghost Rider, okay? So, there were 7 chambers before this lesser god Molech. And chambers, right? Chambers. You know, every time you have the enemy have a copy or a counterfeit of what God has. Now, the people were trying to have a replica of the tabernacle, but this time around they got it all wrong and decided to have 7 chambers. They originally had the first chamber, which would be a sacrifice of a bird, the second a goat, third a calf, fourth cow, and then the fifth an ox, and of course the last chamber being a healthy living child. Now, Rashi, a 12th century rabbi, commented on this scripture on Jeremiah chapter 7 verse 31, and he says, I'll paraphrase, he says that the child is placed between Molech's flaming hands, and the priests beat drums, and so that the father could not hear the voice of his son or daughter. They actually drowned out the screams of the child. Why? So that the father is not moved. Now, back to the question earlier on we talked about, does the child die? Most often, in fact, I probably would prefer, probably 99.9% of the time, the child does die, and if he or she gets to survive, he or she is scarred emotionally for life. Now, why would people practice such an act? This is where it comes into the manipulative mindset that the Molech priest had. Now, they believe that if you are able to sacrifice such an offering, you can kiss the feet of Molech and you will get whatever you desire. That was a very steep price to pay just to get some credibility, or just to get a status, or just to get wealth in life. So it's really, really sad, But then it's not surprising, because Bible does once again say in Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 9, it says that the heart is more deceitful than all others and is desperately sick. So when you have this connotation of how the heart is deceitful, it does tell you how desperately man desires or needs God. That's why God says that he will take out the heart of stone and replace it with the heart of flesh. You'll be wondering, so do some kings in those days watch over this occultic practice? Yes, some even practiced in it. Notably, King Ahaz at the age of 20, who was a well-dignified villain, passed his own son through the fire. And even King Manasseh in 2 Kings chapter 16 verse 3 also did the same thing. Now, Manasseh didn't just sacrifice his son, he sacrificed his sons, in the plural form, through the fire of Ben Hinnom, amongst other practices. It's even believed that even King Solomon could be attributed to be put to blame because he married different women who had different occultic practices. So probably he watched as some of his sons and daughters were passed through the flame. Now, it does tell you that things are really messed up at that point. But then, that is not how a child should be brought up. The relevance of a child brought into this world is to fulfill a call, or fulfill a ministry, or fulfill a blessing that has been given to the parents. It's unfortunate that things have to go this far. I read in an article recently where a mother burned her 2 sons in an oven in the United States. All these are all practices which make Christ weep. But nonetheless, we know that we have hope that things would get better. So long as we trust in him and we subject our heart to no longer be hearts of stone, but to be hearts of flesh, yearning and seeking to know more about Jesus. Thank you guys, and in the next episode we'll be talking further about a new topic. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. Questions are also welcome. Stay blessed. Have a good day.